welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today the first puzzle I'm going to attempt today is called Escalation by Celery. I suspect this video may never see the light of day though, because none of our test solvers have been able to solve this puzzle. It's been sent to me with a warning, which says that it came in to us originally. It was recommended by FJam, who wrote an absolutely sort of fulsome amount of praise about it, and says it's an absolutely brilliant puzzle, but not very easy. Two of the testers had a go at it and could get nowhere, and the email says it would be a nice video because then we could see how to solve it. So that's my job, is to see if I can solve the puzzle that the testers couldn't solve. I have read the rules, and well, they're terrifying, frankly. It's one of these disjoint subset rules. Hang on, why have I got that going on in the background? That's annoying. Sort of flashing advert on a window behind this one. Yeah, it's disjoint subsets, which basically means, for example, that the middle right-hand positions in every 3x3 box have to all contain different digits. And the reason this is a nightmare is that, if you're looking at that digit and trying to determine from a Sudoku perspective what it can be, you have to bear in mind it can't be the same as those 4 digits. Obviously, normally in Sudoku, we'd scan the row, we'd scan the column, we'd scan the box. I might not, but you know what I mean. You're meant to. But here you obviously have to look at these 4 squares as well, which is very peculiar. So that's one aspect to this. I did look it up on Logic Masters Germany as well, and it's only got about 5 solves. I mean, it really hasn't got many solves. I think there are 2 comments which said that it's very brilliant. If you can do it, it's very brilliant, no doubt. Anyway, I do love Celery's puzzles, and in particular, shout out to Celery for the last puzzle I did of Celery's, which was called something like Coordi-Loop, and that was absolutely startlingly brilliant. So if you haven't checked out that puzzle, you really must. That's definitely worth looking at. Anyway, this is the first Celery puzzle we've attempted since that one. And I will read you the rules in a moment or two's time. I've got a couple of things to mention first today. Firstly, yesterday we released an incredible new Sudoku hunt over on Patreon, themed on trick or treat, from the Skunkworks, full of 6x6 puzzles. The document that they prepared for us for that is 25 pages long. Most of those pages have a puzzle on it. It's just a wonderful thing. So many of you have been enjoying that already. I think I can confidently state that this might be the biggest entry we ever get for one of our Patreon competitions. It's definitely a little bit easier than the last few months. Certainly if you want to be in with a chance to win the competition, which means you only have to solve the first 9 of these 6x6s. We have had hundreds of entries so far in a day for those first 9. And congrats, by the way, to Kurt Hugo Schneider, the YouTuber, who sent us in the first entry about an hour. An entry, by the way, for the whole pack. Very, very fast indeed. So, unsurprisingly, Kurt is something of a polymath and a genius, and demonstrated it again to us yesterday. So do check that out. It's really, really worth your time. And it's a couple of bucks a month to join us on Patreon if you're not already a patron of the channel. Other than that, Line Sudoku is out, which I guess this puzzle could have appeared in Line Sudoku Celery. Because it's got lines in it, and that was broadly the criteria we used for what sort of puzzles we would include in that app. So it has got region sum lines, it's got 10 lines, it's got German whispers lines, Renban lines, all the things that you've come to expect from line Sudoku type puzzles. And yeah, it's just been released. Still haven't had the final confirmation it's come out on Steam, but it's definitely out on Android and on Apple already. So have a look at that. And then I've got some birthdays to do as well. So a very happy birthday to Carolyn, who turns 32 today. And I know this because your husband Jory wrote to us, Carolyn, and said you'd appreciate a shout out. Apparently you refer to me as Mr. Puzzle Man. Well, let me tell you, I have been called worse. And I know you're going to get chocolate cake today in what Jory described as a reasonable, with a reasonable ratio of icing to cake, which I guess it's at worst 1-to-1, isn't it, if it's reasonable? So it sounds like you're having a good cake, as Maverick is about to fly past my window. And Chris, you turned the big 4-0 today. Congratulations, my friend. You started watching in 2020, and since then you have solved every single puzzle we have featured alongside the video. That's fantastic. Over there in Kentucky. And you're having chocolate bourbon bread pudding for your dessert today. Well, that does sound quite nice, actually. I do like bourbon in moderation. So yeah, that's bread pudding is very good as well. So have a great birthday. Next, Mary, you've turned 21 today, and I know this because your roommate Twig wrote to us and described how our videos have helped you both through the last year of university. Well, thank you for telling us that, Twig. I think you're over there in Missouri, if I got the email address correct. And Mary, many happy returns. And then finally to Nathan, a young viewer who has turned 8 today. And I know this, Nathan, because your dad Kevin wrote to us over there. You're over there in Sutton, Massachusetts. So I live quite close to a place called Sutton in Surrey. But Sutton, Massachusetts is probably a nicer part of the world. I'm going to guess it is. But neither of you like chocolate cake. That's a disaster, Nathan. Well, hopefully you'll get some sort of cake, it'll be a poor imitation of the great chocolate cake, but I hope you enjoy it and have a great day today. Now, that's all the news. So my squeaky chair, I don't know how to do anything about that. I am so hopeless at anything practical. But let's have a look at Escalation by Celery and see if I'm also hopeless at this. I suspect that's not the first introduction I'm going to do today. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 in once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Cells with the same relative position within a 3x3 box must contain different digits. So this is this disjoint subsets rule that I was referring to earlier. For example, all cells in the top left corner of each box must contain a different digit. So that's just saying that these digits all have to be different, which is the corollary of what we were saying earlier. So similarly, the bottom middle cells of each 3x3 box have to be different. I think you've got the idea by now. Digits cannot repeat along the indicated diagonal. So we've got a red diagonal here that has to have the digits 1 to 9 once each along it. And these blue lines are region sum lines. So along a blue line, each line segment within a different 3x3 box must sum to the same total. Blue lines may have different totals to one another. So we've got one, and this is why it's called escalation, is it? Because this is sort of an escalator type pattern. And what this is saying is that those two digits, whatever these two digits add up to, they must, this is obviously the part of this blue line that lives in box 9. The part of this blue line that lives within box 8 is these 3 squares. So these three, the sum of those 3 digits is going to be equal to the sum of those 2 squares, which is going to be equal to the sum of those 3, the sum of these 3, and the sum of, which colour? Grey, the sum of those 3. So that's how this long line will work. Let's do this line. So this line is saying that that cell is equal to the sum of those 3 squares, etc., etc. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking, squeaky chair or not. Right, so I probably should have left the shading in actually for this line here. I mean, there's a couple of things I can see. That's got to be at least a 6, because these 3 digits, the minimum they could be would be a 1, 2, 3 triple. So that's got to be at least a 6. The same is true of that one, except that one can't be 6. We actually get a given digit today in a peculiar manner. That digit, so that's a 3-cell triple as well, look. So that's 7, 8 or 9. So these are both sevens, eights or nines, but they're not in the same disjoint position, are they? That's in the top left, that's in the bottom right. I was wondering suddenly, oh, hang on, those two have to be different. They are both in the top left-hand position. But that's that's hardly important. It's going to be this escalator somehow that we're going to have to figure out. I'm just going to repopulate this line with colouring so that we can stare at it. We can stare at it and understand fully what's going on. So each of these coloured segments has the same total. What does that mean? Well, one thing I can see here which is potentially of interest is if the total for this line has only got one combination to make it up. So say these line segments each summed to 6, say. Well, then this would be a 1, 2, 3. This would be a 1, 2, 3. And then on the diagonal, the only place you could put 1, 2 and 3 would be in this box. So they would all be 1, 2 or 3. But that works equally well if the total for this line, I was going to say, if this was 24, this can't add up to 24 because this is a 2-cell line segment, the maximum sum of which would be 17. So yeah, okay, so if this added up to 6 or 7, that would cause these squares to be either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. Ooh, sorry, I'm not getting that at all. I don't really understand how I'm meant to limit. I mean, there's no reason these have to be low numbers. At least I don't. Well, they have to be a little bit low because this says this is a maximum of 17. If that was 17, that would be a 7. That would be 1, 2, 4. That couldn't be 7. Okay, so it's not this, is it? I don't. Well, it might. It's probably this in some way, but it's something to do with the disjoint rule, probably combined with this long blue line. Now, how does that work then? But actually, that's not great because. Yeah, that's not great because. For example, that part of the line, the red part, is totally in a totally different position to the grey and the green parts. The grey and the green parts are a little bit overlapping in the sense that they are in the bottom left of a box, aren't they? So the red bit can't be... Well, the red bit has commonality with the yellow bit. The grey bit has commonality with the green bit. Because, red and yellow are in the top right. Green and grey are in the bottom left. Yeah, okay. So there is a... Yeah, okay, so actually I'm going to get rid of my colouring here, I think, because I'm just noticing that the top right parts of these boxes at least do overlap with these other ones. That one as well. Yeah, okay, let's have a look at the top right pieces of... Oh, no, that one doesn't quite work. In fact, let's just highlight all the top rights. Let's just have a look at this in totality. So let's look at all of those. That's too garish, don't like that. I normally do like bright green, but that felt too garish today. I don't like the yellow either. Let's try... Let's try orange. I don't know why. My brain is telling me it doesn't like colours today for some reason. Don't really like that one either. Yeah, alright, I don't mind the red. For some reason the red, and maybe it's the red and the blue and the way they're interacting, that feels okay to me. Yeah, so what I was noticing is that these bits of the line do have commonality. So those four there, maybe we just try and focus in on those. Oh, golly. Let's make those green. They are all in the top right of a 3x3 box. Now, what does that mean? Thing is, I don't think it means very much even, because yes, I mean, it's certainly true to say that those 4 digits all have to be different. The top right-hand cell in each 3x3 box has to be different. But there's no reason that these have to add up to, say, small numbers. So it's possible, for example, if that was very low, that could be a 1. If that was, well, that is quite low, but that could be a 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't be 6, but it could be lots of low numbers. But these could be quite big. Those two could be quite big. There's nothing about this escalator, apart from the fact it can't add up to more than 17. So I don't think there's anything naturally. I don't get this at all. I just don't get how I'm meant to. I don't get it. I don't get it. This puzzle is. I'm certain it's going to be some sort of set trick, because this is the sort of thing where it's so utterly minimalistic, and it's. I did do a disjoint puzzle I want to say about a month ago, that had some sort of set trick in it, I seem to remember. And you can find with these disjoint puzzles like weird relationships. So there will be some way in this puzzle, I don't know what the way is yet, but there's some way of equating this line with disjoint sets somehow. Yeah, so there are. Maybe the point is that these. I don't know. No, sorry. I realise I'm not even articulating any thoughts now. It's because I don't really understand how to do this. So when I say I don't really understand, I don't understand how to do it. I'm wondering whether there's a way to use the diagonal somehow. Because the diagonal can be viewed as a set of the digits 1 to 9, can't it? So. We could. I mean, if we use the diagonal and the escalator, it feels like these 3 boxes might have to be. Oh, my phone's buzzing at me. That's okay. Might have to do something. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to play around with this. I could offset. I could offset the whole of boxes 1, 5, and 9 against the top right sets, and they would have the same digits in them. Sorry, and I realise I don't even know if this is worth doing though. Let me before we go down the set route, I'm just going to stare at something for a second. Let me just play around. Let me just play around, because I don't really want to go down this whole route of... So hang on, what would I be saying now if I've done that? I'm saying that the yellows are equal. I've got to get rid of the greens. Sorry, the greens are now disturbing my thinking. So the yellows and reds are now equal. So the yellows and reds along the line are equal. Let's get rid of those. 45 plus something. Five, 35, 51, 16. Yeah, that is interesting actually. Sorry, I realise I'm not explaining what I'm doing, which is terrible, but that's because I'm not sure whether what I'm doing is in any way interesting. So, and I don't want to go through the whole Scrabble bags thing if this is just total nonsense. This is at least 16. So that's... Yeah, there is definitely a restriction here, actually. Okay, let's just back up. Let me back up a bit and explain what I'm doing here. So let's go here. Let's start here. So, and let's discuss what these red cells are. Now, because I know that all of these digits here are different, we can view the top middle positions, or the cells or the digits that are in those positions. They're all different digits, so they are a set of the digits 1 to 9, aren't they? Now the same is true of the top right cells. They are a set of the digits 1 to 9. The same is true of the middle right cells. They are a set of the digits 1 to 9. So the red cells in total represent 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So imagine that. Oh, I don't know. Hang on. I don't know where my Scrabble bag is. It's normally on my desk somewhere. I've got an orange one. Where's the blue one? Hang on. No, I've just tipped a load of Scrabble tiles out. Oh no. All right, we're going to have to do this, I think, conceptually today. Sorry. Right, so imagine that we wrote each of the digits in the red tile, or the red cells, onto a Scrabble tile, one each, and we put them in a bag, a red bag. Then we would have 27 Scrabble tiles in that red bag, and if you examined the contents of that bag, you would find 3 tiles with the digit 1 on, 3 with the digit 2 on, 3 tiles with the digit 3, all the way through 3 tiles with the digit 9. Now, I'm going to highlight a different set of digits now. I'm going to highlight those cells in a different colour, and that's because I want to make a bag of yellow tiles. Now, obviously this is a whole box of a Sudoku, so that contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. We don't know the order of the digits, but we know that's the digits we'll find there. The same is true of box 5, the same is true of box 9. So the yellow, and let's imagine we write those digits onto yellow tiles, so we put those in a yellow bag. Well then, that yellow bag will also contain 27 tiles. There will be 3 digit 1s, 3 digit 2s, etc. So the red bag and the yellow bag contain exactly the same digits on the tiles that are in them. Now, what would happen if I reached in to both bags and I took out whatever tile corresponds to this cell here, and I took it out of both bags? What now do we have in both bags? Well, the point is that we don't know exactly what we've got left. We know we've got exactly 26 tiles in both bags now because we've taken 1 tile out, and we know that those 26 tiles contain the exact same digits, because whatever digit is going to be in this cell, it's obviously in the yellow. It's in the yellow bag, and it's in the red bag. And I've taken that tile out of both bags, and the contents of both bags was equal before, and I've just taken the same thing out of both. So I can do that for any cell in this puzzle that's in both colours. So I'm just going to remove all of these tiles from both bags. And you can see that by doing that, I've now removed 9 tiles from both bags. So I'm left with 18 tiles in both bags. And the 18 digits are the same, but we don't know what they are, because we do not know what digits are going. Well, I suppose one of them is a 6, but we know that there's now a maximum of 2 6s in each bag, but we don't know exactly what the contents are. Now though, there is more jiggery-pokery we can perform here, because we know that the yellow and the red bag contain the same digits. We know that if we sum all those digits together, they come to the same number. I don't know what that number is, but they come to the same number, don't they? But so if I was to remove those 3 tiles from the yellow bag, and I was to remove these 3 tiles from the red bag, then the totals for both bags should still be the same, because we know that this line segment adds up to the same as this line segment. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take out those tiles. But the same is true for these, isn't it? If I take those out of yellow and those out of red, providing I take them both at the same time, it's still true to say that the yellow and the red bags, when summed, contain the same number. Now this is where it gets fascinating, because look at this little scenario up here. Now let's imagine I took these 3 tiles out of the red bag and I replaced them with this number, whatever that turns out to be. Then obviously the total for the red bag is still the same, because this is the sum of those 3 digits. So I'm going to take those out of red and plonk that one into red. I'm going to take these out of red and plonk that one into red by the same logic. And then we reach this little position where I've got lots of yellows and lots of reds, but I'm much closer to being able to quantify the total value of what's in my yellow bag and the total value of what's in my red bag. Let's try and do that, because there is a secret that we can avail ourselves of here. The yellow bag, or the yellow diagonal, that we know from the rules of this puzzle that contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. And the secret of Sudoku, which is something I only share with my very favourite people, but of course, if you're watching this video still, you're definitely one of those, is that the digits 1 to 9 sum to 45. So I know that these yellow cells sum to 45, and these yellow cells down here must add up to at least 6 more, because if I put 1, 2 and 3 into them, that would be the minimum. So the minimum value of the yellow tiles in our bag now is 51, the absolute minimum. But what's the maximum value of the red tiles? Well, in this box, we could put 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5 into those squares. That's the most we could put in, isn't it? 9, 8, 6 and 5 add up, 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5 add up to 35. So I've got 35 here, maximum, which means I must have at least 16 here. I must do. Otherwise I can't equate the yellow total with the red total, which I must be able to do. But 16 here is not that easy to achieve. Because if I make that 9, say, then these two could have a maximum. Yeah, I mean, if you do make that 9, the maximum value of those two squares then could be 8, couldn't it? We couldn't make them bigger than 8, because then that would have to be a 0. So if that's 9, these can add up to 8, and we have to get to 16 at least. So, but this can't be 9, because there's a 9 here, so that would be 8. And we can just do it in that situation. And if you make that 8, yeah, this is absolute. This is it. This is it. There are no degrees of freedom between red and yellow. Because if you make this 8, then the maximum value of those squares is 7. But we know these have to add up to 16, which means that has to be 9. So there's not going to be any other ways of doing it. If you make that 7, you've lost too much latitude, because these could then add up to a maximum of 6, and that would require at least a 10 in this square. So this can't be 7. These do add up to 16. These do add up to 35. These are 1, 2, 3. This is absolutely bonkers, because I think it's true to say that I have absolutely no idea at this point what this line adds up to. I might be wrong about that. I might be missing a point. Let me just think about that for a second. Because I never used the math. I used the maths of it, but only in the sense of I used the equality between the line segments. I didn't. No, I don't think I've got a clue what the blue line adds up to. This is just weird. It's absolutely magical. So I mean, I'm not astonished, because these disjoint puzzles can yield just absolutely seemingly nonsensical stuff like this. But hang on, let me come back to this. Does that have to be 8 or 9? Because that's what I think I got to then. I think I also got that has to be a 1, which is going to do something down here. Let me just double check that. So if that's 9, we said the only way we can make this add up to 16 is these adding up to 8 and that being an 8. Now if this is 8, their maximum is 7, and that has to be 9. And if that's 8, because that is always 1. So this is always an 8-9 pair. This is a 1, so this isn't a 1. Which means there's now a 1 on the line here. We know, don't we, that we know these squares had to be a quintuple on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 6 is not in any of those. So 6 is in one of these two squares by Sudoku now. These squares have got to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is quite interesting for this column, because that is a... Well, yeah, that's quite good. So in this column, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, the 4 of which is up here. So these can't have a 4 in. And that gives me a 1, 2, 3 quadruple in this column. Now, is it really possible for that to be a 6? If that's a 6, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1. No, actually, that does. I was wondering whether it caused too many 1s, 2s, and 3s somewhere. Right. Okay. Come on. Come on. What's going on now? We've got... Do we know what this one is? That square is at least a 4. Yeah, that's fine. 4 with a 1, 2 pair. Oh, I tell you what, where do 1, 2, and 3 go in this column? That's a very easy question to ask, and actually, for once, a simple question to answer, because they can't go here, can they? And they don't seem to be allowed to be up there, so that's a 1, 2, 3 triple. Right, so that square is a 4, 5, or a 6, because we can't have a third low digit here, otherwise this triple would add up to 6, which it doesn't seem to be able to do. So that's a 4, 5, or a 6. And 4 in this column is down at the bottom. Look, it's in one of these two cells. Oh, that's it. I know what that digit is. Right, look. The minimum value of those two squares, once this is a 1, 2, 3 triple, is a 4, 5 pair. And that cannot be greater than 9. So it is 9. This is a 4, 5 pair. There's a 4 in this column already in the quadruple. So that's 5, that's 4, that's 6. That means that's 9, because we've got to add at least 1 and 2 to this 6 in order to get to this value. 9's coming out of all of these squares. Oh, it looks like there's something going on with 9s in this box. Actually, look, that can't be 9s. There's a 9 in one of these two cells, which means there's a 9 in one of those two cells. No, there isn't, because there's a 9 in one of those two cells. So 9, we get a 9 on the diagonal. I don't know what else we get, but that's, well, 9 in this box is quite restricted now, you know. Not very, actually. Not very. It's got to be in one of those 3 squares, because it can't be on the blue line, because the blue line's adding up to a maximum of 8. Now, can we disjoint any? Yeah, we can. We can disjoint that one, because if that was a 9, we'd have 2 9s in the middle of the boxes. So that's a 9, that's a 9, there's a 9 down here. We know the 9 is... Yeah, the 9 in box 8 is given. Oh, hang on, that's huge. Oh, sorry. The first thing I should have done is say 9 in here fixes this square. So that's 8, that's 9. Yeah, so there are in effect 4 9s looking at box 8. Placing this... Now, can we do more with 9s then? So 9s are knocked out of these squares. We still don't know what the total is for this line here. Now, let me think about this. So any of these... this one, that can't be 9 because it would map to that one. The bottom left, is there a 9 in the bottom left of any box? I don't know. Top left of any box? No. Top middle of any box? Don't know. I don't think so. I think 9s have got 3 positions in box 4. I might be wrong about that. I'm so bad at scanning disjoint puzzles. Oh, I tell you where we should look is this one. Because 9 has appeared on the diagonal, look. So 9 is in one of 2 positions. And if it was on this one, that would be good. Because that would push the value up of this line thing here. Which actually can't be massive. Because the maximum value of those squares is now 12 if these were a 5-7 pair. So if that was 9, that would have to be a 1-2 pair. Which it does work. Just. Wow. Okay. Okay. How do we do that then? How do we figure this out? Maybe that's what I've got to do. Maybe I've got to look at Sudoku and these 2 squares, because we've got... This square is under pressure, I think. It can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Or it's a naked single. When I say under pressure, I mean it's actually forced to be a 7. It can only be a 7. Right, can we do that same trick here? This square can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. That one can be 5. Yeah, that's C6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry. Right, okay. So this line is done. This little stub of the blue line has to add up to 12. So this has got to be 4 and 8, which means 8 comes out of the top of here. So this becomes 5, 7. We can take 7 out of there. Hang on, what's going on? 5 comes out of this one. We get a 6, 8 pair. At the top, there's a 6 here. So that's got to be 6. That's got to be 8. That's going to be massive, because this 6, we know it's got to be made up of 1, 2, 3, triple. So now look, we've got a 1 in this domino and a 1, 2, 3, triple here. So where's the 1 in column 4? It's going to have to be in one of those 3 squares. No, it can't be in that one by disjoint. Oh, I'm scanning it. Can we do any of the others? I'm not sure. We probably can somehow. I just don't know how to do it. Alright, so I'm actually hopeful that we might be able to solve this now, because I think getting that geometry trick at the start, that feels like it was the battle that we needed to win. Now that 8, look, is giving me a 7 here. So I've now got an 8, 9 pair in this column. No, no, I haven't, because that 8 is in the same position as that one. That's right, isn't it? They're both in the top left, so that's got to be a 9, that's got to be an 8. Which, okay, so can we do, let's look at 8 maybe in box 5, which is in one of 3 positions, except the middle top is the same as that one, so now it's in one of 2 positions. If it was here, we'd know that was 8. Can the top right of a box be an 8? Maybe, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. How are we going to do? Oh, right. Hang on a minute. There's some stuff we can do here. I can do stuff in this box I've just seen, because if you look at 1s in the top right hand positions of boxes, there's a 1 here, there's a 1 in one of these, and there's a 1 in one of those. So that's all 3 top right positions for 1, isn't it? If there's a 1 in each of these little areas I've just outlined, we can't have any 1s anywhere else in the top left in these 3 squares in the rest of the puzzle. Now that's interesting for this cell, because if that was a 9, given this has to add up to 12, there would have to be a 1 on it, and there couldn't be. So that is not a 9. So there's a 9 in, so now that's not a 9. That's going to give me a 9 here, which is going to give me a 9 here. How many 9s have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got, no, okay, so we should be able to get all the 9s. Yeah, we can get all the 9s just by doing Sudoku. Now, okay, and perhaps unsurprisingly, none of those 9s are in very useful places. These 2 squares have got to add up to 8 without using 1, so they're not 1, 7. Yeah, so they're either 2, 6 or 3, 5, aren't they? No, hang on, they don't add up to 8, they add up to 7. What am I talking about? Oh, that's worse, I think. They add up to 7. That brings 3 and 4 into the equation. Yeah, they can't be 1, 6, because that can be neither. So it's either 2, 5, which will put the 5 here, or 3, 4, but that might be possible any which way. Bobbins, that doesn't do it, does it? Where's 2 in row 7? It can't go here, because this would add up to 3, and you'd need to put 9 here to make 12. So 2 is in one of these squares. Whoops, oh, whoopsie. I need to put 2 in the corner into those 2 squares. So we can probably limit these 2 digits, can't we? We need 11 more along with the 1. So it's not 2, 9, it's not 3, 8. So it's either 4, 7 or 5, 6. It's not 5, 6. Neither of these squares can be 5 or 6. So it must be, this must be a 7, I think, and that must be a 1, 4 pair. Sorry, that's probably been available for ages and I just didn't notice it. So that's not 4, that's not 3. This is a 2, 3 pair now. We can get rid of our corner marked 2s. We still don't know what this digit is, although it's probably revealed by a disjoint trick somewhere around the grid. 7 in the middle box, is that restricted? Can we put 7 on? Yeah, 7 on a line is much. What about 8? 8 can't go on a, yeah, we can't put 8 in this one, can we? Because if you put 8 in one of those 3 squares, you'd need to accompany it with a 1, 3 pair, and we know you can't put 1 in the top right hand corner because 1s have already appeared in the top right. So 8 in this box is mildly restricted, one of 3 places. Top left is out because of the 8 in this square, so now 8's not there, which means 8 is here. Oh, it doesn't get me the 8 down there. I thought it might do for a moment. 8 is in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. Can we rule 1 out? I don't think so. Might be wrong. Bother. Okay, maybe 8 down here is a little bit under pressure, because I can see it can't go in the bottom left because of that one. So 8's in one of these 3. Now can we rule it out of anywhere else? Depends where the 8 is there. And we've also got to bear in mind we do need an 8 on the diagonal, but I think it's got lots of possibilities. 8 can't go there. 8's not in any of those, is it? So it really would be lovely to know if this is 8 or not. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so we're going to have to think again. Where is the best? Where's the likely simple position that we can think about here? Is there one? I haven't got a clue. Could it be? I don't know. I don't know. Where am I meant to look? Oh, I tell you something. There's a 7 here, so that can't be a 7. It's going to be things like that we're going to have to spot. It's going to be monstrous. So that's useful. The 5 there sees that 5, so that's 4, that's 3, that's 2. Now how do these impact the world? That can't be 3, that's in the top middle. 4 in the middle right position. Oh, there we go. We get an 8 here and a 4 here. Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I don't know if that's the way I was hoping for that or not, but now 8 on the yellow diagonal does have to be in one of these positions. Can't be in the top. Can we rule 8 out of the bottom right somehow? Oh, no, we don't need to in a way, because 8 in column 1 now has only got one place left to go, so 8's got to be here. Let's double click the 8s and see if we can do anything with that. So 8, oh, that's not 8. I didn't realise that. That must be important. I see. So we've got one of these is the bottom middle 8. One of these is the bottom right 8. And one of these is the middle 8. Now, how are we going to disambiguate those? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know the answer to that. Okay. What on earth do we do now? 7s probably, I think. Although 7s don't feel... Oh, 7 I suppose in the middle. 7 is on this diagonal, so maybe that's what I've underused. I've not thought hard enough about 7s. Yes, look at box 1. Where's the 7? It's not on the diagonal. It can't be in this cell, because if it was here, it would map to that one. So 7 is on the line in box 1, where it must be accompanied by 2 digits that add up to 5. Now, these 2 digits can't be 1 and 2, so there must be so this is either 347. Sorry, it's either 37 or 47, and this is either 1 or 2. Now we might be able to do better than that. There's now definitely a 7 in this domino, I suppose, which... Hi, let's check. Bottom right dominoes for 7s. There are none in the grid. Rotten puzzle. What about 1 and 2 in the bottom middle position? Right, so there's a 1, 2, 3 triple in the bottom middle positions now. So that means that square, I think, has to be at least a 4. It can't be a 4. That square is now at least a 5, I'm going to claim. I'm actually going to pencil mark that. 5, 6 or 7 for that square. Okay. Now, can we do any better than that? Let's think about it. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So this square is 3, 4 or 5 by Sudoku because it sees 6. It's not 4 because 4 is on the diagonal. So can that be 3 or 5? Let's look at the top left-hand positions. Either seems possible. That also sees a 6, so that's 3, 4 or 5. And that's top. That one doesn't see the 4 there though. So and that one, okay, so we now know where 6 goes in this column, I suppose. That's the point that we're learning. That must go there. 6 is in one of these two. Now, can we do better? 6, have we got any 6s in the middle or the middle left of the grid? No. This line can't be 3, 4, 5 anymore. This line has, actually that line has to have 2 on it then, doesn't it? Is that wrong or is that right? Because it's a top right position, which we know hasn't got 1 on it. So there's no 1 on the line. If there's no 2 on it, it would have to be 3, 4, 5, which it can't be because that would break that square. So there is a 2 on this line. So it's 2, and then 2 digits that add up to 10, which are either going to be 3, 7 or 4, 6. Oh, it's very hard for that to be 3, 4, 6, but it's possible, I think. Right, but there's another little thing we might be able to do here, although maybe it's not helpful. Because I'm just thinking that 2 is now used up in the top right-hand sides of boxes. So 2 in this box can't be in those squares. It has to be in one of these 3 positions. Now, can we do anything with that, though? Bobbins, I don't think I can. Oh, that's so frustrating. That felt like a good idea, didn't it? And yet... I'm sorry, I can't see how to do that. Okay, let's try other things then. What about 1s? We've not thought about 1s for a while. Oh, I've hardly got any 1s in the grid. But we do know things about 1s. 1s can't be in the top right of grids. Oh, okay, here's a different way to ask a question then. Where is the 1 in the top left of a 3 by 3 box? That's quite an interesting question. Because it can't go here because of this 1, 2, 3 triple. So it can only go there. Oh, sorry, that's probably been sitting there for ages. So that's a 1, that's a 2, that's now a 3. I think that 3's been sitting there for a while. Let's see if it does anything. Oh, it nearly does. Nearly gets a 3 in this box, but it doesn't quite do it. 3's got 3 positions, I think. Can we put the 3 on the line? It would have to have 7 with it. Yes, we can. Or... oh, the 2 here. This is good. The 2 here is making this the 2 that we knew had to appear on this line. And now we need these 2 digits to add up to 10. And they can't be 4, 6 anymore. So that's a 3. And that's a 7. So this is not 3. Oh, this must be some sort of breakthrough, isn't it? That square is a 4 or a 5. It's not a 5 by disjoint. 4, 5. Oh! That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Right, these squares are now 4, 7 pair. And here is a knowledge bomb for you. 4 and 7 add up to 11. So I've got to add 1 to that to make 12. Those are not 1s. Oh, we must be able to do something over here. Can we do something? I don't know. It feels like there's something going on there. 4, 7 here. Can we do... I thought that 7 was seeing that one. That's nonsense. don't know. There might be a way to do that. Can't see how. Okay, 1 in that box has to be here. How many 1s have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, surely we can. Have we got a 1 in the middle of the grid anywhere? Yeah, where's the 1 in these middle cells going? We haven't got one yet. And I don't, well, it can't be here, here, or here. Can't be there, can't be there, can't be there. So it must be here. So that's a 1. That might not have done anything. Okay, it's got me a 1 down there. That's the bottom left-hand position. Yeah, we're left with this arrangement of 1s, aren't we? Have I got 7 1s in the grid? I do. Okay, so that's probably not the next step. Okay, what are those 2 squares then? They are 4 and 6. Oh, we can do them. 4 and 6. So this square is not 6 anymore. Bottom middle, 5 or 7. Oh, yeah, hang on. These squares are all quite high. 2, 5 and 7. Well, 2 isn't, but we can't make this a 5, 7 pair, can we? It would already add up to 12. So we need the 2 to help us out. And then these 2 squares add up to 10, so we can't use 5. So that's got to be 7. That's got to be 5 on the diagonal. That's got to be 3 by mathematics, and that's a 6 on the diagonal. And it's lovely the way it's not broken the puzzle. That's a 4 and a 1. That must be the 1, 2, 3 triple up here now. Okay, well these squares have got to be a 2, 8 pair, and we can do that. So let's fill that in. 2, 8. That seems to be 8 by pencil marking. That's become a 4. If we trust our pencil marks. 2 and 3 in the bottom left. Yes, there it is. So that's got to be a 3, 2, 2, 3. There's a 3 in this domino, so that's 3 and 6. That's a 6 by Sudoku. 4 and 7 over here. That's a something. Not the most descriptive way of describing a digit ever, but I think this is sort of filling in now. 5 and 7. I shouldn't have said that. That's crazy talk. This column needs a 5 in it. This box needs a something in it too, I think. We need 5, 7 and 8 over here. So 5, 7, 8. And suddenly the puzzle's filled in. Oh, that's great. That is great. I've no idea if it's right or not. Let's just check. Each of these add up to? Each of those does add up to 12. So that suggests we're on the right line. Let's see. One person has solved this. Well, that's me. But I thought more people had solved it on Logic Masters. Actually, 48 minutes. Wow. Well, to be honest, I'm delighted. I'm delighted that I waded my way through that. I apologise to all of you who have no doubt been shouting at me about my abject scanning skills. But Celery, take a bow. I mean, this is one of those fantastically minimalistic puzzles where you almost have to use every grain of information in the grid in strange ways. Yeah, I mean, it was actually necessary to sort of commute those 3 into this box in order to allow us to view these 5 cells together and thereby force down the because if we hadn't done that, we might have thought that they could add up to 9, and these could add up to 9 as well. But they can't because those 2 share a box. And therefore we could sort of force this total down, which put a lot of pressure on this arrow, or those 3 digits. And somehow there's this weird relationship between these 2 squares, which forces them to not be allowed. Well, yeah, it forces... Yeah... These 3 squares do not have a maximum of 17, which is also just feels a bit peculiar to me. I mean, I can see it's right now I think about it, but Celery has appreciated that and then incorporated it into the break-in. And I absolutely loved the fact, I might be wrong about this, and forgive me if I am, but in my mind at least, I couldn't tell what the sort of total was for the escalator until very late on in the solve. Maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe I could have got it from there a bit sooner, but I didn't see that. If that was possible, I just didn't notice it. But I certainly didn't know that in terms of the break-in, when I was just sort of locking off things that had to have a quality. That's brilliant. It's quite a brilliant puzzle. Not easy, I think. Maybe that's why it's hardly got any solvers. I don't know, but let me know how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.